Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner. This is my review for Iyanla Fix My Life Season 7, Episode 2. Y'all will get this sometime Monday morning because it's currently like 1:20 in the morning. Y'all know it's wash day, so ignore my hair. Let's just get into it. Y'all know if y'all have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel to become a whole JayBirds. Y'all already know to always breathe it on out, to inhale and to exhale and to relax and to relate and to release, to center yourself and everyone around you. Y'all already know to like, comment, and subscribe to the like, comment, and share this video. And to follow me on IG and Twitter at J_Lees_Corner. Boom. Okay, so this episode, girl, Iyanla be finding the money. She be finding them people. Now look, last week with Shay and them, I don't mind Iyanla's show when she have somebody from reality TV or someone that we know, but I also love these episodes of people we don't know who they are, but we can still connect to them in some way, shape, or form and whatnot. So we have Christy. Okay, the episode kind of features Christy, who was 47 years old. Okay, she's a mother of 8. Okay, a mother of 8. Now, she looks good for 47, okay? I'm going to say that no matter how hard her life was, honey, black don't crack, okay? Black, she didn't do no drugs. That's what it was. She didn't do no drugs. Or if she, I don't know. But she looks good for 47, considering the things that we heard that she went through. She looks great, okay? Now, she also is married, okay, to Demetrius. Okay, now Demetrius is 31. Yep, he is 16 years. She's 47. He's 31. Now, she's also there with her oldest son, Christian, okay, who is 27. We also have her daughter, who is 21, Amber. And then we also have her youngest son, Christopher, who is 17. Now, the whole episode is about them and whatnot. Now, she brings up how they're kind of there because her and her husband, okay, micromanage young adults. Meaning we are trying to raise my kids who are all thus. Because remember this. She has 8 children. Her oldest is 27. Her youngest is 17. So again, they all in between them ages and whatnot. So again, they're adults, except for Christopher and whatnot. So they're trying to micromanage and help and raise and be this and that and this to her basically adult children or whatever, who always wants to do their own thing, but still wants mama, her husband, to help them when they mess up and whatnot. And she brings up how, being all of that to the kids does not allow her husband to bond or grow as husband and wife. Now, Demetrius says, like, he feel like the kids, Amber is 21, so she's not a kid, but still, he thought the kids has no plan to move out of the house. That's the issue. I mean, well, no, what he said was Amber was someone who needs to move out because, again, she's 21, but Christopher is 17, is what I meant to say. Now, Amber say, I can't complain about how my mom feels about things going on because it's a situation that I kind of helped put them in, too. And I was like, what you mean by that? She said, well, because I'm 21, I live at home with my mom, her husband, my 1-year-old child, and I'm currently pregnant with my 2nd child. So yes, she is a product of someone's environment because, again, if you're 21, living at home with your mama on your 2nd kid, okay, and ain't nobody spoke about no daddies being around, it's some foolishness or whatnot. Now, Christopher, the youngest, he basically say, I'm just here so I don't get fired, okay? I have to be here because I'm the youngest. Legally, I guess I'm by my mama or whatever, but I'm only here so I don't get fired or basically put on punishment. Now, big brother Christian brings up how little brother Christopher is really reckless, okay? He's reckless. He does whatever he wants to do, and that is scary considering the times that we live in. And then the oldest, Christian, says that he's there because they need help to get past hurts and damage that has been caused in their family. And she's like, wait a minute, ain't nobody said nothing about, I'm like, wait, no one said nothing about hurt and pain until you. Everybody else done spoke, but no one mentioned hurt or pain. And Christian said, well, I think it's because, our mom was absent from all of our lives at one point or the other. And so for the most part, you know what I'm saying? Because she left me as older. She left me when I was 12. Okay. And I have no idea why she left. Okay. And her being absent is what damaged the relationship with all the kids. And I'm like, okay. And he said that it's never been addressed. And I say, well, hold up here now. Now the mama again say how I'm here because we trying to raise these adult children or whatever. And then, Chrissy admits how, I know my son is carrying around hurting pain from me leaving and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But she know that he had never been away from her until she left when he was 12. But, it was a decision she made to leave her firstborn child or whatever. Oh, so you hear, have y'all talked about that? You know what I'm saying? Why you not here? It's about, the issues with him versus you being here for, trying to be a wife to your husband. Like, that don't make no damn sense. Like, that's the whole problem around here. Y'all are talking about raising adult children. Who does that? And I'm like, Iyanla, let her know, okay? And so she then gives all of them, like, some cards, like, abandonment, deceitful, dishonesty, sad, all these things, or whatever. But she's like, you know what? Give all of them back. So give me all the cards back. She gives all the cards to the kids and puts them where? In the mama's lap. Because, again, any issues they have, it came from her. And so they have a whole little woman-to-woman chat, okay? So Iyanla and Chrissy chat or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And y'all, like, I get you. I understand. Like, I was, I had 3 kids by the time I was 21. I had 3 kids by 3 different men, okay, by the time I was 21. So I get that. But you have 8 children. I'm like, 8 is a lot. Okay, is 8 enough? I don't know. It's like, what if each 8 had 2 kids? Okay, if each of your 8 kids had 2 kids, you are not responsible for breaking 24 people besides yourself. Because you broken, your kids is broken, who then have broken kids, and then the cycle continues. I'm like, speak the word. Okay, anyway, so Chrissy brings up how I wanted us, her and her husband Demetrius, I wanted us to get things under control with my kids. I'm like, they not kids. Your youngest is 17, and even the one above that is 21. They not kids, okay? But I wanted us to get better, to get things under control with my kids, so that me and him could be better parents, grandparents, and then husband and wife. I'm like, but that ain't what you said, but I'm going to leave that being whatnot. And it's like, your husband is 31. Your 31-year-old husband can't parent your 27-year-old son. Hell, he can't parent his 17-year-old son. It's not going to work that way. It won't work, okay? And so, she kind of admits, oh, okay, I guess what you saying makes some sense. I'm like, the fact that she didn't get that to me means she got some screws loose. Anyway, Iyanla then goes and talks to Amber, the daughter, who they have already said there's a sadness in her. Okay, there's something about her that's sad. And so she's like, when did you first, feel like you were sad? And she said, I think it was when, my mom left. That's when I remember, first being sad or whatever. You know what I'm saying? She's like, and then when she came back around, when we was like teenagers, we then learned and saw things through how she lived. And that's how we learned things in life. Okay, she brings up how, what I'm saying, the reason I'm even in a situation that's not better than when I am in now is because of my mom's example. You know what I'm saying? She never made good decisions with men. She always had failed relationships, and I always seen that. So anything that we learned or did not learn was through her example. And I'm like, people don't get that. People don't get how your kids learn through you. Okay, so all the things you think that you do is they learn through you. Even if they fall by the wayside at some time and go the wrong route, they still learned through you. Like, my mom had me and Veronica, she married our birth father, whatever. I think I had Veronica at 17 or 18. I had me when she was 19 or 20. But my mom finished school, went to college, has always worked. Like, she always was a great example of, you have to keep it moving. And even with her and my birth father, when she divorced him and she met my dad, like, even then she still never lost she was always a vision to me as I'm going to be a good example for you. I have never seen my mom with anybody besides my birth father and my dad. Even though I'm aware that I think she dated one guy in between them, she would divorce my birth father. But again, we didn't see that. So people be out here just doing whatever in front of their kids, and they see that. So Amber is saying, like, the things I learned from watching my mama have these multiple failed relationships is the reason I keep having failed relationships. Okay, I'm like, let her know. And Iyanla brings up, well, I get it. You know, I had a kid at 16, at 19, at 21. I went to college at 29. I went to law school at 33, and I was about 40 when I grew up. Okay, like, it is hard, but it can happen. And she said that to Amber, let her know, don't feel like your life is over right now, because I too started growing up later in life, because of my early decisions or whatever. It can be done. Like, what, is your dream? Like, what do you want to do? And Amber said she wants to be a nurse, but now, she feels as if she just really needs to focus on being there for her daughters. And she was like, nope, don't do that. That's what your mama did. Your mama focused on y'all. Okay, she's like, you should never give up on your life for your kids. She's like, if you focus on being there for you, you would then be a demonstration for them to know how to keep going. She's like, when I was in school, I was in night school, my kids sat outside the classroom door, so they saw mama trying to do something with her life. And I get that so many people get pregnant, have kids, and then feel like, I can't go to college, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't get a job. You do so much saying you can't do it because your kids. No, do it for your children. Okay? I have a memory of my mama walking across the field, because we lived at, it was like a big playground park, and so it was a huge field to walk across. And I just, for this memory, she was coming home from either work or school, but she would I just seen her walking across the park, coming home from either work or school. And I was like, sometimes you have to get it how you live, because we didn't have a car back then. I was less than 5. I was so young. I had it like 4 or 5, but I had that vivid memory of her. I mean, it was 6 or whatever. But again, that's what I remember. You get it how you live. I mean, you get it any way you can. My mom has never shown me, oh, you just, you don't do nothing. You just have your kids, and people who just sit and make excuses, and they sit and they struggle, and then that struggle becomes a generational curse. And like, every generation is struggling. Like, if your mom was on welfare and your grandma was on welfare, now you on welfare, that's a goddamn pattern. Somebody should want to do some more with themselves. I'm going to leave that be. And that's not a diss to anyone who needs assistance. I'm not saying that. But at some point, you want to do better than whoever from before. Anyway, so we do see one of the coaches telling Iyanla how the mama has a secret or something that she wants to bring up, but she does not want to do it on camera. And so she said, no, you don't get to have that option now, to have something that you want to talk about, but you don't want to talk about it on camera. And I mean, Iyanla spoke a word, and she said, what if God chose you to be the demonstration, okay, to the world of what can happen? Thousands of people write me, I prayed and you got picked, so you don't get to come and say what you're not going to do. Okay, so close your eyes, okay, I'm saying, and just let whatever it is come out. If you can't say it, write it. And it was how she wasn't forcing her to tell her secrets. What she was saying was, you came here for healing, and you can't want to try and hide certain shit from it. You know what I'm saying? You was picked for a reason, and whatever that reason may be, you know what I'm saying, people write me, I pray about who I pick, and you got picked, so you here for a reason. And so as she's sitting there with her eyes closed, mouth clenched, and she's talking like she's speaking, but she can't really speak really, she's not saying words. She's just like making noises or whatever. And then she writes down 12, because that's how old she was when it happened. And when she wrote down a young age number, I said, okay, clearly someone probably touched her as a kid. And then she brings about, there's just this hurt and this fear and she was saying it in pieces, I'm just piecing it all together. And she said there's this hurt and a fear from being touched by strangers in what felt like forever. Okay, and then as she's talking, Iyanla's watching her body language or whatever, and as she's her eyes closed and she's crying, she's kind of clenching her fist, she's gritting her teeth, pursing her up, closing her lips, meaning like she's trying to prevent herself from things happening, and that's usually what a person does because that's what they were doing when the act was happening. And she said, so I get do you want to talk about the men who forced you to do things as a little girl that you did not want to do and how they stole your voice? Because you're sitting here now and it's real calm and real quiet because again, she can't really speak it like that. She's speaking it all really, really quietly. And then she tells her, like you have you've had your own experiences because no, you have to own girl, get it right. You have to own your experiences because holding on to it is what had you not been a good mother and abandoned your kids, because you're holding on to this hurt and this pain that you feel shameful about, that you feel you just have all these feelings about it, and if you do not let it go, it just kind of manifests in different ways and whatnot. So she brings up her mama told her to be loyal, and to be a good mother, but she was not a good mother, that she ran because she was scared or whatever, and that she ended up with her kid's daddy, who she felt like she was with him because she was running away and he protected her from everyone else. And she's like, yeah, but didn't he abuse you too? And she was like, well, yeah, but it was what it was. And Iyanla, like, it's okay. Like, you didn't do nothing wrong. Like, you didn't know any better. And you were trying to protect yourself by running away from one form of abuse, and you still ran into more of it. So again, it's like layered shit that mama been through. She looked good considering the things she's been through in life and whatnot. So we then see Iyanla talking to the husband, Demetrius. Look, Demetrius looks, I just want him, he too young for that haircut. Girl, I don't need that be. Anyway, he brings up how, he with her to help her this and help her that and whatnot. And that, I came around and we knew it would kind of be an issue because of our age difference or whatever, but we felt like the kids would be old enough and out the house and grown, so it wouldn't really be an issue, but things didn't go that way. And she's like, well, you with a woman who has 8 children, okay, who are broken, okay, and half of them is your age. She's like, does she respect your voice as a man? Like, how often does she make you feel inadequate? Because, women who typically are disrespectful verbally, will make a man feel inadequate. So how much of that is your truth? Like, tell grandma. And she really said, tell grandma, talk to grandma. And he said, I felt inadequate a lot. She does not respect my voice. Or whatever. And she's like, well, how often do you put your foot down? He said, well, I don't really argue with her. She said, well, you don't have to argue with somebody to put your foot down. And you can see in him that he's probably scared of Christy, because he always looks scared when he's talking. Like, I don't want to say too much that may piss her off, and I then have to deal with it later, okay? And he's like, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to have you talk to her now. And I was like, girl, I'm scared because, again, Christy's in a little bit the rockers. So she sits and talks with Christy and Demetrius. And look, he look scared? He looks scared, and she looked like, I'm going to cuss his ass out as soon as we get behind some doors or whatever. But again, it's like he's waiting to be beaten up by his wife. And I mean verbally or whatever. And so she gives him a book called The Spirit of a Man. And she asked him, like, do you have a spiritual foundation? Because you're supposedly the man in this relationship. He said, well, no, I don't. She like, so how you with this woman who has 8 kids, that's trying to lead, but you're not even grounded to anything in life besides yourself. You say that's not a good thing. And she gives her a book called Peace from Broken Pieces, because you can't have nothing if you don't have no peace in life. And it's like, I want y'all to be separate. Now, I don't want y'all together, because if y'all are together, the same patterns between y'all will just continue. So I want y'all to be separated or whatever. And you can see he like, ooh, I don't, and she's gonna beat me later. And then she asks Christy, like, do you know that he's afraid of your mouth? And she says, well, yeah. She's like, oh, okay, and you do it anyway. She said, well, okay, that's the thing. And that's something else. When you are aware that you are being abusive in one way or the other, meaning she know that she is mentally and probably verbally abusive to him, and she's aware of it, but she still does. She still does it. So again, that's not good or whatever. So Iyanla then said, you know what, Demetrius, give me your phone. I'm looking like, his phone? What do you do? What do you do, Jesus? And she's like, you know what? I just don't want her calling you. You know what I'm saying? If she gets weak, she needs to call one of the coaches. I don't want her calling you while y'all are here. And I'm like, ooh. And again, he looks scared sitting there. And when Chrissy gets up to leave, Iyanla asks him, how does that feel? He said, I'm relieved. You know what I'm saying? That she's gone for the night. I'm looking like, when your husband is relieved that you're gone, how bad are you? Or how weak is he? Because you haven't spoke about how you feel just depressed and stressed and just is he it's not a slave anyway. So, girl, thoughts on my head popping out. I'm trying to control myself. So Iyanla told him, like, I know what I see, and I wasn't going to let her loose on you tonight, so I knew to not have y'all together, like, y'all can be separate or whatever. Take the time to write out your feelings so you can put your foot down. Okay, now do that. I say, let them know. Now, we do see Iyanla talk to Chrissy the next day a little bit. And, she brings up how I was crying all night. Like, I was just crying and crying about different things. I just felt congested. And I was congested with this pain. And I just had to get it out. And I think my 12-year-old self was the one throwing tandems. And Iyanla again said a word. She's like, sometimes we become mothers before the woman in us is grown. So the little girl in us is who runs the woman's life. So again, that's why you be having these fucking tandems as a grown ass woman. Anyway, she brings up how, I also don't think this is the right time to your children about, you being violated. Like, I think because you're their mom, they would then let you off the hook. They would then go into protective mode on you, and they would, not really hold you accountable. So I think, she's like, well, I don't even want them to know. It's like, no, they do need to know. Like, as adults, they do need to know, but it's not right now. And I think we sometimes forget. That's why sometimes people like to, when they're in trouble, they like to give something bad that happened, because it then makes the person like, oh, I can't cuss your ass out. Nah, you get foot broke or whatever it may be. Like, something bad happened. I can't be upset with you for what you did to me. And the reason we're here to talk about, I can't be mad because now you told me this. And so we can't talk about that right now. Cool. Now, we do see her talking to her oldest, Christian, and he brings up how, when she left, it made him feel like a part of him was taken, a part of him was broken, and it just did not make sense to him because they just wanted to help her and whatever it was that she needed, and she just left. He brings up how his sibling's father was very, very much so abusive to her, and how he saw it, and how he can remember he was like 3 years old, and he's like, I remember jumping on his back and just saying, like, stop hitting my mom. And that broke my heart, and I don't think I've ever fully recovered from that. And again, people don't realize what past experiences that they remember. Not that parents don't realize what their kids sometimes take with them from a very, very young age. And so you have to be careful what you have your kids around, okay? Anyway, he brings up how, back then he cried for days about, her being gone and about what he saw, but he doesn't cry about it now because he cried so much then. And as he's sitting there not crying, and she is crying, y'all like, she's crying for you because you can't cry those tears now. And maybe one day when you're able to fully outright cry in your mom's bosoms. I'm like, y'all look like titties, okay? Because she's always bringing up the bosoms. But again, if there is something about when you hug, if you and your parent have some kind of strife, especially a mother, and y'all are at odds for whatever reason, the moment you start to loosen up is when you hug your parent and you just sob in their bosom. Okay, I'm just here. It works sometimes, or even a husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. There's something about the bosom that helps everybody or whatever. But again, she like, what can we do to be close again? And because he doesn't fully trust her, because as he said, like, he hasn't really, gotten past that. And she do say, I'm so sorry for leaving you. I'm so sorry, and I'm here to figure out, forgiveness between me and you. Now, she then meets with Amber and Christopher, the youngest son and the daughter. And Christopher said how he just doesn't want his sister's kids living through or going through what they did. And it's like, y'all been here, Iyanla say, y'all been here for 2 days and y'all always talk around stuff versus saying what actually happened. I'm like, right, what the fuck happened? Because none of them really say what they've been through. Like when they mama left, who did y'all live with? You know what I'm saying? What school did y'all go to? Like, nobody has said, hold on. Like, no one has said any of that the whole time that they have been here. And it's like, y'all just keep talking around things, you know what I'm saying? But, what have y'all been through besides y'all mama not being there? And he said, well, we've been through it all, okay? If you can, anything you can think about, anything you think that kids in the hood or the ghetto go through, that's what we've been through. And I'm like, well, that's a lot. That covers a range of things. So he still wasn't specific about we went through A, B, C, and D. But he brings up how he can't judge his mama because even though she left, you know what I'm saying, she did it to be, get to a better place or whatever. She's like, what do you mean or whatever? He said, well, I can't judge her for leaving because, my dad, my birth father, like, he literally beat the brakes off of her. I said, well, not the brakes. He brings up how, what I'm saying, whenever he wasn't whenever the daddy wasn't in prison, the mama had to be by his side at all times. He's like, I feel like, even when he was on the corner selling crack, she was right there with him. And I'm like, your mom was selling crack? He's 17, so his mama was on the crack in 2000, girl, not for 2000s or whatever. So, he brings up how I trust my mom's instincts as a mother. Because again, after all she went through, she still thought to get away to have something better. She left my father for something better because, that was I'm like, but again, who did y'all live with? What happened, okay? And Iyanla tell both him and Amber, do y'all know that all the people around y'all, all the adults basically, failed y'all, okay? They failed y'all. And as Amber tried to say, like, well, I know, but my brother, and she was like, no. You have to get, y'all both were failed. It just looks differently. The way that he is reckless and don't care is the way that he was failed. But for her, she is with 2 kids at home with her mama. So again, it was just 2 different looks of the failure, whatever. And I'm like, that's true. People sometimes would say, oh, well, so-and-so with the jail. Yeah, but your other kid got 8 kids by 4 men. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the way everybody was failed in different ways. Boom, pow, pow. So we do see y'all that go to Chrissy because, like, there are so many levels of truth that has not been told. It's crazy. You never told me in the 2 days you've been here, okay, that you was with this man selling crack in your house. She's like, no, well, he didn't sell drugs in the house. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some people did come looking for him to get drugs at the house, but that's why I left him. I'm looking like, no, that was a drug house. You let that man sell drugs out your house. Anyone who comes to your house to buy drugs, your house is a drug house. Okay, because your man had drugs with him to give to them. Boom, pow, pow, okay? So she then brings the 2 sons in to talk with her. And she holds up a couple of different signs or whatever. When she holds up a sign that says, like, selling. The youngest one say, well, my mom, my mom would be with my dad selling drugs. The mama then say, well, no, that's just his understanding. That's not really what happened. Saying, I was just in a relationship with him while he was selling drugs. And she was like, well, what I heard her say was she was an accomplice to him selling drugs. I mean, look, have I ever dated somebody who was possibly a pharmaceutical rep? on the streets of Detroit and other cities or whatever? Yes. But was I ever involved in any of that? No. No. If I didn't help him do shit, that ain't got nothing to do with me. No. Don't pull me to the bullshit at all. Now, the oldest son say, like, I didn't think that she would do that, okay? But if she did, it would be another disappointment or whatever. Because I guess in his head, she wasn't out there. But again, they don't know why she left in the first place or where she went. So I'm looking like, again, was mama somewhere on drugs too? Like, what is they not saying? Okay, I'm gonna leave that be or whatever. She then holds up a sign saying jail and drugs. The younger, well, I think both of those is in my future. I said, how do you think both drugs and jail is in your future? Okay, now when the mama start crying because he say that, it's like, you can't show a weaker than him. Okay, you can't do that, because if you are weaker than he is, he will stop coming to you. You can't be falling apart when he needs you. I say, girl, let her know. And when she asked him, well, why do you do the thing that you do that gets you in trouble? He said, well, I will take money however it comes. I feel like it's my time to figure out how to do for myself. I have to figure it out. She's like, no, you don't have to figure things out. Like, you need to, pay attention to good counsel and wise advice. And she points to the older brother, who has not been to jail, who does not do drugs, and who is sufficient in life. And younger brother acknowledges that his older brother is all those things. And so we look like, well, why have you not paid attention and asked him, how can I basically get to where you are in life? Okay, and she's like, you will not waste your power and your brills on this bullshit, boy. Listen and pay attention, whatever. He brings up how he know, like, he matter in life, but for him, he's like, I still feel like mama added your baby boy. I don't understand why you didn't just take me with you. And she's like, I failed. I'm sorry. And she was an honest moment of her acknowledging, I fucked up as a parent. Okay. We then see Chrissy, and then we just have a conversation or whatever. Now, they've been kept separate for 2 days. They kept them separate because, again, she wanted them both to work on themselves or whatever. He tell her, like, look, what I figured out was, if we keep living how we living, it's not going to be good for me. Okay, and when I speak to you about goals that we need to meet, you don't really take me serious. And so I don't like that. And if you keep breaking me down, if this keeps breaking me down, I will have to leave. And so she get, what we doing ain't working for him, and he gonna leave me. I can't afford to leave him. I'm like, are you? I'm gonna leave that be. So she brings up how you're so used to being with alpha men. Do you know how to be with somebody who's a gentle spirit? And she say, yeah, but when I let him wear the pants, we didn't have no lights on. Okay, so then I put the pants on, and I had lights and gas and water. I had it all. So I have to do things. She's like, no. He was wearing the pants just differently than what you were. Like, he was wearing the pants in response to how you treated him. If your husband don't pay the light bill, buy some candles. You don't then beat him down for it. It's a different way to handle when he do something wrong than to beat him down. And I'm like, I mean, no. I'm gonna be mad if you. Look, it's gonna be a conversation. Okay, it's gonna be some raised voices around here, but I wouldn't beat him down for it. I wouldn't do that. I'm going to leave that be. Now, we then see the whole family gets together, okay? And, she wants them all to air out their grievances or whatever. And, Christopher said to Demetrius, like, I think you need to, if you're going to be married to my mom or whatever, you need to take the position as her husband, cater to her, and step up as a man because it's what you signed up for. And she was like, Iyanla said, Christopher, you can't tell your mama's husband how to treat his wife. You're not even old. Like, you're a child. Like, you have to respect him. Like, there's a way for you to say things, but still have respect for him. You are talking to him how your mother taught you, which means any kind of way. And even though he felt like, well, I can, he's, rebutting or whatever, she was like, shut it down. Okay, you don't get the floor since you can't respect the village. Shut it down. I say, Iyanla was really like, boy, shut up. And then the brother Christian was in the corner just smiling. Because again, someone finally checked him like a parent should. And I'm like, let him know. So we then see, because this is my thing. If I'm 38, my mama tell me to shut up, I'm gonna shut up. Christopher is just loose. He do whatever. Okay. Anyway, Amber says to her mom, like, you give your kids the option to respect you or not, and you should want respect. Chrissy then say, what I heard her say was that I gave up them respecting me for them to have a friendship with me. And I'm like, well, that's what you said. Demetrius says to Christopher that, you know what I'm saying, I don't like, it really bothers me that you don't show respect to not only me, but to your mama. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not good. You know, you really should try to listen to us when we give you knowledge to help you in life or whatever. And Christopher heard it and repeated it or whatever. And she's like, you know, that's what it is. When you hear someone, you know, that's what respect looks like. I'm like, okay, cool. Christy says to Christopher, like, you know, you put your, was it Christy? Yeah, Christy said to Christopher, you put yourself in a box, okay? And the way you do that, you know, you make, the way you say things makes a difference in this world. And I want you to carry yourself like the man I know you are, rather than the man you think you have to be. Meaning, he think he has to be this, I don't know, thugged out, drug dealing gangster. And I'm like, no, that ain't what you gotta be or whatever. And Iyanla tell him, like, you know, once you let go of that, you know, once some of that hurt clears up in your chest, your energy will shift, and you would then kind of change. That boy's gonna be a tear. She says to Amber that, you know, you don't use your voice enough, and you act out when you want to speak up. And Amber said, you know, I heard you say that. You know, I suffer in silence until I explode. I feel like someone probably touched her, and no one wants to talk about it. Anyway, so they then burned them damn grievous cars they holding, and that was it. Girl, this could have been a 2-hour thing. I feel like, but as Iyanla say, this is not about fixing everything. It's about giving them a start to fix things. But I'm like, okay, honey, that was a lot. This is gonna be long. I don't care. Love you all.